Hey guys, it's 007 here, and today I wanted to talk briefly about the Crusader. I've been really seeing a lot of videos lately that have been talking about the Crusader, and they've not really been giving it a very good light, in my opinion. So I think I'm going to talk about what I think is the truth with regards to this thing and what you guys should know about it. To be honest with you, and you got to hear every word I say, I think the Crusader is currently the best agility fighter in the game. Yep, and I know that's a massive words considering it's a 10-0 and what it's got. Sure, many people have criticized the lack of RWR, countermeasures, uh, all that and such. And additionally, probably the biggest criticism level that the plane currently is its airframe, unable to take high, G maneuvers, especially above 900 kilometers an hour. But and I mean, even the missiles fall under criticism. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I really don't think it matters. Those respects, I have learned to walk away from all those different aspects. The airframe ripping, the missiles being lackluster. I mean, first off with the missiles, they're not AIM-9Bs, they're not AIM-9Es. That's already an upgrade in itself. I will take AIM-9Ds any day over those two. Like, these missiles are really good at getting going and catching their opponent, especially in long range engagements. Usually when it's under that 2 kilometer belt and we're at top speed and they're trying to do winding turns, I can crack off an AIM-9D and bring them closer to me and set up another AIM-9D or get ready for that gun run. I mean, AIM-9Ds will work for you. 4 of them is a big deal. That's a lot of stuff you can work with. And going beyond the missiles, the airframe itself, like upgrading this plane, like the stock grind of this plane, I think is a joke. People, think about, stock grinds being bad. Super Mystere is notorious for how bad its stock grind is. This thing you will hardly tell. It is so minute what is wrong with this plane with regards to it being unupgraded and being upgraded. It's really, really weird. This plane really doesn't care, what state it's in. It's just ready to go. Wing ripping, yes, that is a problem, but I've only wing ripped one time, and that was to evade a missile. Every other time, I've really never had trouble with the wing rip. It's been disciplined flying that's kept me straight and true and basically got me through. And I really do think that this plane is really good. I have not lost a 1v1 in this aircraft versus every aircraft I've encountered so far. The aircraft I thought I was going to run into the most trouble with was the J-35, and I turned out to be completely wrong because I literally just sat there and took him into vertical loops over and over again, abusing his weight and his thrust disadvantage versus my thrust advantage and my ability to maintain lift at a lower speed and not stall. Like, I was pushing this guy around, and then I came back around and nailed the guy. It really is impressive stuff. The biggest plane that I think is the biggest issue you'll ever deal with in this aircraft is the MiG-19, because it has a little bit more thrust than you do, but it lacks that turn rate slightly. But once again, it turns into this whole game of when you outmaneuver someone, and you will outmaneuver everyone you want. I have surprised many G91s and one-circled them. And I tell you what, I bet the look on their face was like a big head scratcher, a big heavy plane like the Crusader outmaneuvering its opponent and then coming in to blap it. That's probably going to be a shocker. But I really think this plane has been unjustly, tainted by the community. They have overlooked this thing's potential. I will mention another glitch now that I see the air rake out. One other glitch I would talk about is the fact that this thing can't deploy its air brake and its combat flaps. That is slightly annoying. But I will say, once you get the combat flaps out with someone, you really don't care about slowing down because you're going to be doing the slowing down with them. And the amount of angle of attack this thing can achieve, which is absurd to me. It's incredible. I think the best plane to describe this one as is an F-86K on steroids. It just has, that structural tendency, the missile capability. The only thing I'd say this thing has over it is just the slow speed handling. It's way better than the F-86K. It's really incredible. And once again, like I said, people have given this thing a bad rap. and I think that's really unjust. I really recommend people they try out the Crusader. I think it's a worthy challenge. I love the plane personally. It's now my favorite fighter of the entire game, let alone the patch. I know it's not the strongest. The F5 has largely taken that award, although it's kind of been nerfed lately, so it's a little tricky to call it now. But I think the Crusader is the best fighter of the patch for what it does. I've outplayed virtually every plane, and it's such a simple, competent aircraft that provides you the many resources you need. You have the thrust when you need it. You have the ability to maintain low speed handling when you have it. You have the climb rate when you need it. And then, yeah, the low speed or low altitude, high speed, horizontal runs. Yeah, that might be where it gets beat. But once again, that climb rate, you can turn that back into energy. So easily climbing with your opponent when they're basically trying to force, sprints. Play the long term game, get the altitude, and start trying to put them into positions where you can get firing envelopes. Like, it's nothing complicated. It really isn't. And it really surprises me when people really, talk down this plane. Scottish Koala said that this plane was too late for the game. I disagree. This plane is probably going to achieve its prime time around this whole thing. As long as you got a good head on your shoulders, you're going to beat people with this plane. I think there's no debate in it. It is incredible what this thing can do. And I honestly hope that people try it out. I really do. I think there's a lot of fun to it, and I really hope that we get some good skins for it. Because I've been, playing around with the user template. Like you can see in the beginning, I put Eyes of the Fleet on the front, kind of like the Crusaders from 13 Days, the Cuban Missile Crisis movie. I really have really good hopes for this plane, and hopefully, when we see the French Crusader come to the game, it's going to be a whole nother level because that one was equipped with magics, and people criticize the AIM-9Ds, but once you get magics, oh my goodness, that thing's going to be 10-7, no debate. It might even go to 11-0 if that's the first one that does, because it has the agility, like I said, to outplay what it needs to outplay. So that's what I'm going to leave it with you guys. I really hope that you give this plane a try. Definitely give it a second chance, second glance. I think it really is worth your time. I really have fallen in love with this plane for what it does. I was surprised after what I did on the dev server. I wasn't impressed, but when I got to the main patch, saw this thing in action. Wow, I'm a believer now. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a good time, and I'll see you guys later.